Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Show Me the Money is the name of the show, and you are live on URA TV, the show where we get to talk about all the fundamental happenings within our economy and beyond. But even most importantly, it is the show where you get to know about every investment opportunity that you need to be making the most of. With me on set this morning, in our very first episode of this show, is a pair of beautiful ladies from the Uganda Free Zones Authority, and I'm going to give them a minute to introduce themselves to you. Rebecca and Doreen, the floor is yours. This is the moment where you get to say hello to our viewers.
My name is Rebecca Nalumu Wamono. I'm the Director of Business Development and Investor Support at Uganda Free Zones Authority.
Dear listeners and viewers, my name is Doreen Kembazi. I'm the Public Relations Executive at Uganda Free Zones Authority, also commonly known as UFZA.
And some people say UFZA.
UFZA.
It's a thing for Ugandans to get it easy. At URA they say URA.
Yes.
At UNRA they say UNRA. And at UFZA they say UFZA. UFZA.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, and that gets us on to the very first question, because I know we have so many questions that we would like to field you with, and we need answers. But even most importantly, the investor out there who's watching from all over the world wants to know, if I'm to put money in Uganda, what are some of the opportunities that I need to look out for? So first things first, and the very first question is going to be a question about helping us understand exactly what a free zone is, and I'm going to field it to you, Doreen. What is a free zone?
Thank you, Solomon. A free zone is a gazetted geographical area where processing and manufacturing of goods for export is carried out without being subjected to import and export duties and levies. All this is meant to make the goods more competitive on the global market, and also to facilitate trading for investment in the age of global value chains. It's an area in a country where imported goods can basically be stored, processed, or manufactured without being subject to import and export duties and taxes. The intention is to make them low at production, the cost of production low, so that they're able to compete on the global market. If you are producing, say, a cloth here in Uganda, and somewhere in China, this very cloth is selling at $1, you must be able to produce at a lower cost, even in Uganda, for you to actually be able to sell it at, say, 95 cents on the global market. So we are no longer just talking Ugandan market, because it is small. How many are we? 40-something Ugandans?
Almost 45.
45 Ugandans.
45 million.
Yeah, that is not market enough for us as we are talking global now. Where are we going as a country? And so this is a scheme meant to put us on the global level as a country so that we are able to compete with even the giants out there in the world.
Thank you, Doreen. Just to probe you a little deeper on that, you talked about this is a safe space where someone can come and produce massively for export without having to worry themselves about import duties and export duties and things of that sort, so that they are helped to be able to produce at the lowest cost possible to compete on the global market, where the prices are usually quite low, if you ask me. And the question then I would like to ask you is, let's say I'm producing beddings, Solomon duvets, and I want people to buy these duvets on the local market and the global market.
Right.
And I'm getting inputs, say, from China. I just bring these imports in without having to pay import duties.
Right. Because if you're bringing them in as raw materials to aid you in production of the final product, which is beddings, in this case solo beddings, then we are expecting that you are going to bring in these raw materials. Of course, at a later date, we'll be talking about the benefits, because you're thinking This now being URA, where are the taxes? We are not getting any taxes from these producers, from these manufacturers. But look at the jobs, look at the technology transfer, look at all these other considerations. But most importantly, look at how you're aiding this manufacturer to be able to do such a production in your country and take it to the global market, to say made in Uganda. So it is just no longer just for Uganda, but also trading and recognition at the global level.
You are putting boo-boo on the map.
It's no longer just boo-boo, buy Uganda, build Uganda. No, we are saying sell to the world. Let them know that this can actually happen in Uganda.
I really like the sound of that, and I'm sure there are many other investors who exactly like I am, especially with this information, getting to know that there is this place where they can be able to get into and make the most of the opportunities within. And now, that leads us into the second question that I'm going to field to Rebecca. It's a question of the mandate. Everything has a father, or should I say a mother. And in this case, the free zones have a body that is directly in charge of their operationalization.
Okay.
Rebecca.
Thank you very much, Solomon. The mandate of Uganda Free Zones Authority stems from the East African Community Customs Union Protocol. And within the ESC Customs Union Protocol, Article 25, 29, and 31, the free zone scheme is specifically one of those areas that is highlighted as an export promotion scheme for the East African community. Then within the ESC Customs Union, we have the provisions for export processing zones as well as free port zones. So the overall mandate of these zones is to enhance export promotion and development within the ESC Customs Union Protocol. So our mandate also stems from the Free Zones Act. The law came into force in 2014. And it's from that law that the institution framework for Uganda Free Zones Authority was set up. The core mandate of Free Zones Authority is to facilitate the development, the establishment, the promotion, and supervision as well as control of the free zones. So in simple terms, and I would like to relate with what our vision is to ensure that we facilitate the establishment of export-oriented investments within the country, but also, of course, with being mindful of the East African community. And our mission is to ensure that we establish industrial infrastructure that is specifically for export, but also attract developers and operators and provide customized innovative services within the zone. So in summary, if I may just highlight the core functions of Uganda Free Zones Authority: we establish, we develop and manage, and by that we mean that as an authority, we have a mandate to establish what we call public or government-owned free zones. In addition to that, we have a core role of marketing and promoting the free zone scheme, and by doing that, we license private developers and operators of free zones. So from our mandate, we don't only establish, but also we create an enabling environment for the private sector by licensing them to operate. Meaning that any business or private company that wishes to establish a free zone, you have to get a license from us. Then last but not least is a core role of supervision and control. We have a very close working relation with the Uganda Revenue Authority because, as was highlighted earlier, free zones are custom controlled areas. There is no duty on importation, there is no duty on exportation, so we do this mandate in collaboration with the Revenue Authority to ensure that whatever is imported into this facility is actually processed for export. So we have the supervisory role, what we do to ensure that we don't promote illicit trade. So whatever is imported into the free zone duty-free must go out of the country.
Amazing, fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for really breaking it down for you, for us and all the viewers out there. I'm going to come back to you, especially for a little bit more about the legal framework of Free Zones Authority. But just before I do, I and all the investors out there are curious to know where these free zones are in Uganda and how many we have in the country. Doreen, if you may.
Okay, we have 24 privately established free zones, developers of free zones, and within one of them we have 3 operators. And we are throwing around these terminologies, and one might think who is a developer, who is an operator, you know. So as the Free Zones Authority, we have 3 licenses that we offer. One is the developer's license. This one is issued to an entity which invests in the development of infrastructure in a free zone for either their own use or to let out to other operators and business enterprises. They basically set up the establishment. They build the factory units, if you may. They ensure that water is on site. They ensure that electricity is on site. They ensure that all these amenities are within the free zone, right? And then after they've established that, the second license is the operator's license. Now this one is issued to an entity or a business which undertakes commercial operations within the free zone. So this has been set up by the developer. They've set up the infrastructure, the factory units and amenities and all that. Then you as an operator, you come and say, I want to rent out one of the units within this free zone. And so you are given an operator's license. And then the other final license is the manager's license. So one may set up this infrastructure, you have the operators in this free zone, but you don't want to be in the day-to-day running of the free zone. So you hire someone to manage that free zone. And that one is given the manager's license. So those are the 3 licenses that we have. And as it stands now, like I've said, we have 27 licensees, which includes 24 developers and 3 operators. Additionally, we have 1 public free zone that we are constructing at Entebbe International Airport. And this one is very exciting for all those that are targeting to export through the airport. This is a very good opportunity for you to take up. And then we also have 3 that we are lined up across the country. One will be in Mubende. We have one around Hoima International Airport, Kabale International Airport. And also we have one in Buaya, which is also in Entebbe. Very strategically located sites. And so we are very excited as an authority with where we are going.
There are levels to this thing, clearly, because when I'm looking at the license types and I'm looking at the developer's license, my mind wonders how much investment this guy has to make, because it's a huge setup, you know. Then there's the operator's license, then there is the manager's license. The next question there then becomes, what about the Solomon who's out there? And his money hasn't yet grown to the levels that can permit him to be a developer, but he wants to set up his enterprise within a free zone. We shall get to it. You break down for us the dynamics of how that arrangement works. How can a person partake of what is already in there? Let's say someone has developed a free zone and now they are letting it out to have people come in and make the most of it. We shall get to it at some point. But just before we do, I want to go back to Rebecca to give us a deeper breakdown of the legal framework of free zones. What are some of the laws that permit the Free Zone Authority to execute its mandate effectively?
The Free Zones Act does not, it's not an enclave per se, because in terms of our legal framework, like I said earlier, the ESC Customs Union is top on the agenda. But also within the ESC Customs Union, we have the ESC Customs Union Export Processing Zone regulations. We have the ESC Customs Union Free Port regulations. Then we have the ESC Customs Management Act.
The one I'm very passionate about.
Yes, yes. And earlier, of course, I discussed this, that, well, we are talking about the total tax relief, but we are cognizant of the fact that for us to deliver the national development agenda, we work closely with partners like the Revenue Authority, as I hinted earlier. So really on the customs management is to facilitate the exportation and importation of the goods into the free zone. We ensure that every free zone, gazetted free zone area is allocated a customs officer to facilitate the importation and exportation of goods. Then on the other than the Free Zones Act, of course, we work very closely with the existing policy frameworks, National Development Plan 3. One of the export-oriented strategies is ensure that we promote exports. And you see within the NDP3, free zones is mentioned as one of the economic development policy tools that are supposed, yes, to drive export-oriented investment, but also more importantly, industrialization. So we have other policy frameworks like the ESC industrialization policy, the National Vision 2040, the national policy on the ESC integration, the National Export Development Strategy, and the National Industrialization Policy. So the free zone scheme works in terms of operationalizing. We also work with other existing national laws on employment, on labor, on the environment, on immigration, to ensure that we provide a favorable business environment for those that are operating in the free zones.
Amazing. Thank you so much for painting that legal picture. At least we now have a deeper appreciation of what it is that is pushing, helping you push the mandate of the free zones. But going back to the question that I had asked Doreen earlier, the question of is a free zone for everybody? Every investor out there would like to know, going from the types which you broke down a little earlier, how they can get in. How do I take advantage of this opportunity that is being served by the Free Zones Authority?
Thank you, Solomon. There is this feeling that most of these provisions are for foreigners, and that is something that we've had, over time. But I'd like to assure everyone out there that this is for both Ugandans and non-Ugandans. Anyone who has the capacity in terms of equity to invest in a free zone is welcome, be it local or foreign. One of the most important bits is that you must register your company for the sole purpose of operating in a free zone. And so this brings in URSB. Your company must be registered, and the members in there must read that you are registering for the sole purpose of developing or operating a free zone in Uganda. You must also know that for you to benefit from this scheme, you must be able to export 80% and above of your output, the business output. And this 80% must be outside East Africa. So as you're planning this, you must be able to provide us with the figures and the details to show that you're actually going to be exporting 80% and above outside East Africa. In there also, you must be able to show us that the activities in the project for which you seek a license must be commercially viable and are based on a suitable and credible business plan. So you give us your business plan, and your business plan must be showing us where you intend to export to, what are you intending to bring in, how are you going to manufacture that, how many jobs do you intend to create, how many will go to Ugandans, and all that. We need all that detail for you to be able to get the license in a free zone.
Just a quick question, a follow-up question to that. Is there a specific percentage of jobs that should remain local as a basic requirement for someone who is applying for a free zone?
Like Rebecca did mention, we do not operate free zones in isolation of other national laws. And Uganda adopted the liberal policy in the privatization policy. And so, yes, we will encourage the investors to indicate to us what the local what the percentage is for the local jobs, but it's not specific in terms of the figures. Unless Rebecca has something to add.
Yes, that is very true. Of course, as we do our evaluation, and also if you look at the other benefits of the free zones, we note that employment is top on the agenda. So we are implementing a local content policy, of course, in the context of the free zones, where we do not only encourage all the free zones to source the local employment, but also to ensure that the raw materials, especially if they're readily available, are sourced within the country. The employment threshold, I would say, of course, in a free zone context doesn't apply, but we encourage it. We do encourage it, and ideally every free zone should provide us with a human or skills development plan to show that, okay, in year one you may be using maybe more expatriates, but within 3 years at least you need to be able to train the locals to take up those highly skilled and also technical positions within the free zone. But we want to emphasize the fact that the scheme as it stands right now, over 90% of employment has been provided for the Ugandans. So we've had that really benefit. And we also see many jobs on the technical and also more skilled and also managerial roles being taken up by Ugandans.
Fantastic. I only asked that because I know that for the investment park side, there's a very clear threshold. There's a catch there in terms of how many Ugandans any entity that is seeking to work within a park should have. I thought there was a relationship, but clearly it's a bit more dynamic for the free zones because the bottom line is a bit different. Export promotion. With that understanding, the next question then that I get to ask is a question to do with permission. What are the things that I am permitted to do within a free zone, and what are the things that I am perhaps not permitted to do?
Thank you, Solomon. That's a very interesting question. The free zone scheme as it stands right now provides for two core schemes. One is export processing zone, which is a scheme that is really promoting value addition across sectors. You may be in agriculture as long as you're doing value addition. You may be in manufacturing, whether you're doing electronic, leather, or any value addition, irrespective of whether it's in mineral processing, as long as it's value addition. So value addition in manufacturing, value addition in agro-processing, value addition in mineral processing is permitted. Then the other scheme which we promote is the free port zone scheme, and this one specifically provides for those that are providing trade-related services like warehousing. You can set up a warehousing and storage facility in a free zone. You can do packaging, repackaging or labeling. You can do sorting or grading. Say if you bring in you source, say maybe, I'll give an example, maybe coffee that needs sorting or flowers, whatever, sorting, cleaning or mixing, you can do it in a free port zone. Then you can break bulk. You can import, say, fuel. We have one of our licensed free zone that imports fuel, will import fuel in bulk. They can break it and customize it into smaller lots for their customers and export it. So you can do, in summary, you can do manufacturing, you can do commercial, and also, lastly but not least, export support services. In a free zone, you can provide consultancy services, say environment services, you can provide ICT services, you can do brokerage, you can do repair services in a free zone. So all really on the side of permitted activities, as long as the activities you're doing are value addition or the activities are related to export, providing export-oriented services, you can operate in a free zone. For as long as the activities do not endanger the environment, or they don't have any political risk, or they are not hazardous, to health or human consumption, you can carry them out in a free zone. So for us, in summary, our agenda is export, value addition for export.
Value addition for export, indeed.
Yes.
And on that very note, we are going to go for a very short commercial break. Then when we come back, we shall get a deeper dive into exactly how the authority is implementing this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The Taxpayers Appreciation Season is here! We recognize, celebrate and award Uganda's top taxpayers. Be part of the online Bombaya Business Summits and stand a chance to win smartphones, gift sets, hampers and loads more. Visit our social media pages to find out more.
We appreciate you for paying your taxes. We're proud to be Ugandan. We celebrate you. Oh, we celebrate you. Taxpayers of Uganda. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
The third edition of the Bombay Business Summit is here, starting at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Friday from the 15th of October to the 12th of November. Join us via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube as we discuss topics like surviving and thriving through the pandemic, investing in real estate, trade and investment opportunities in Uganda, alternative dispute resolution, business formalization, and inclusive resource mobilization for Uganda's economic independence. Don't miss out.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Show Me the Money is the show, and you're still live on URA TV, and we are still discussing about Uganda Free Zones Authority, a body established in 2014 with the sole purpose of creating opportunities for export-oriented investment and job creation in Uganda, a task that they are doing so much with. And that leads us right into the next question, because we want to get the picture now. In the financial year 2018-19 and 19-20, Uganda's exports outdid the Uganda's imports in terms of revenue, and I must speak on this because it leads us right into the discussion that we are about to have about what Uganda Free Zones has been able to do in the space of promoting exports. The question I have for you, Rebecca, is a two-in-one. And in the first instance, I would like to know about some of the ways that Uganda Free Zones has been able to help us achieve this balance, where we have our exports performing a little bit more than our imports, and also the top destinations that we get to sell our items as Ugandans, especially items that have been manufactured within the free zones. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Solomon. Like you rightfully said, that the impact of the free zone scheme in the last 3 years has been numerous. We see that in the last 3 years, we recorded an export value of $60 million US. But by the end of the financial year 2020-21, the export earnings that came out of the free zones were worth $1.2 billion. And by that, I mean that the free zone scheme, as it is right now, contributed 23% to the national total export earnings, meaning that the scheme is actually feasible. And it is one of those schemes that has worked in other countries, and it is working for us in Uganda. But in addition to that, the impact has not only been on export earnings. We also see an exponential growth in jobs. By 2020-21, we're talking about having about 8,000. That is just direct jobs. But also we have indirect jobs. Because these free zones, as they are, they don't operate independently. They source raw materials from companies that are outside free zones. They source services outside the free zones. So the direct and indirect, the multiplier benefits that have been resulted out of the free zones have been numerous. Then in addition to that, in terms of impact, we also see an exponential growth in investment. By the end of the financial year 2019-20, we had cumulative investment of about $325 million. But what has been different? How have we done it? Like has been said earlier, that this scheme provides specialized incentives. And what do we mean by that? You allow companies to import duty-free so that you encourage them to add value. And for us, we've seen this working, and it has worked in many countries, and it's working, like has been said already. But in addition to that, we provide unique investor support services. The moment we get a private company that shows interest in establishing a free zone, we assign specialized account relationship managers who help them with sourcing or acquiring permits, acquiring licenses, and any other approvals from all these government agencies or institutions to ensure that the cost, but also the time it takes for you to start business, but also to do business in a free zone, is done within the shortest time possible. Then the other intervention we're doing is we are acquiring land in strategic areas within the country. And what are these strategic areas? Areas that are either the border, areas that are the airport, where as an institution we are constructing purpose-built export-oriented industrial infrastructure, so that all those who wish, including the Ugandans who wish to do export, don't have to invest in the capital required to acquire these, to construct roads, on-site roads, or construct industrial buildings. We do it as government, then allow them to just come and rent space and export. So those are some of the interventions that we have done to ensure that the scheme grows to what it is. So the emphasis here is that the free zone scheme works. We are talking about 27 free zones that are currently contributing 23% to the total export earnings. So we want to urge all partners, we want to urge the private sector to come and join this scheme. It works, and it has worked. Then where are exports going? Currently the top, I should say the first export destination is the United Arab Emirates, where we have about 3 free zones that are refining gold and exporting into the United Arab Emirates. But we also have the European countries like Netherlands, like Belgium, like Germany, where we are selling our flowers. So the flowers have also contributed immensely to the growth of this scheme. So in summary, I should just highlight export destinations are UAE, And then we have Netherlands, we have Kenya, we have Belgium, Turkey, Germany, Italy, United States of America, Russia, and South Sudan.
Amazing stuff, amazing numbers. I've looked at the numbers and they do look beautiful. And it's not a coincidence that we are making the most of our relationship with UAE. And I'm sure very soon we shall be exporting with the same energy to even these other destinations that are on that chart, so that they also come up. That said, I would like to hear from Doreen. You've hinted on some of the benefits. I just want her to expound a little bit more, especially on some of those softer benefits that you've perhaps not talked about. Free zones, impact on the community. Take it away.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Solomon. Like my colleague Rebecca has said, where these free zones are located, we have seen immense impact on that host community. I'll tell you, for example, we have a free zone in Wakiso called Wagagai. They grow the flowers. It's a flower farm. As part of their CSR, they've established a hospital. And the local community is able to go there and benefit from those services. But also the employees within these various free zones, the 24 free zones that have been mentioned, the employees in those free zones buy what they consume, buy what they use from the neighboring community. So beyond these other big figures, we have the small figures of that money going to the locals. If it is a grocery store, then you have these employees in the various free zones going to those local grocery stores and purchasing the items. That money stays with the locals and it is able to enhance their purchasing power as well. So the ripple effect, yes, the ripple effect is real. But also the backward linkages with the suppliers in the free zones. We have a free zone in Jinja, it's called Nailas Free Zone. Nailas Free Zone is processing the green leaf tobacco and exporting it as is. Their suppliers, they have outgrowers in various parts of this country, and they supply that tobacco to the free zone, in this case, Nailas Free Zone. So they are able to get money in their pockets, but also as they grow the tobacco, they are assured of a market. And so they are able to do more because there is predictability. When you know some money is coming to you, then you're able to plan better. But there is also technology transfer. Most of these free zones have high-tech technology. They are using high-tech technology. And they are able to teach our own in terms of skilling them to be able to use this technology. And so going forward, even if such a free zone leaves, if a one Solomon has been employed in this free zone, they go away with this knowledge. But also, as Rebecca will tell us in one of the incentives, when a free zone has owned machinery for 5 years and 1 day, when they are disposing of that, they don't pay some taxes.
5 years and 1 day.
And 1 day, yes. And so they're able to dispose of that, give it to some other person within Uganda who is also able to use it and produce more. And so there are various other benefits from this than what we actually record on paper.
Thank you so much, Doreen, for really breaking it down. It's important that people get to appreciate what is right in front of them and some of those other elements that are perhaps not easy to recognize.
Yes.
And that leads us right into the other question now. This is where the money is. This is the essence of this show. Show me the money. An investor is out there and they are considering, is it worth putting my money in a free zone?
Right.
What are some of the incentives that investors out there need to know and appreciate so that they make that decision? Over to you, Rebecca.
Thank you very much, Solomon. Like we said, the free zone scheme is about export-oriented investment and value addition and employment. So the incentive scheme that we provide is really geared towards promoting export, and ensuring that the Ugandans get employment and the other benefits. The first and one of the most important tax incentives we provide is exemption, total tax relief on custom duties and taxes at importation as well as exportation. So when you're in a free zone, you shouldn't worry about the fact that I'm importing construction materials, or I'm importing prefab, or I'm importing capital goods or raw materials. They'll be exempt.
Prefab is prefabricated?
Yes,
prefabricated. For the benefit of
yes, prefabricated construction materials or industrial facilities, they'll be exempt at importation. Why? Because you're going to add value for export. The other very important tax benefit is on you have a 10-year, you're entitled to a 10-year tax holiday, corporation tax holiday. Why? You're exporting more than 80% of what you're producing. The other benefit is on VAT. There's VAT exemption for the supply of feasibility studies. If you hire a private consultant to do a feasibility study for you or a business plan, then that service will be exempted. Then if you also hire a consultant to do the design, to design or master plan or EIA, that service will also be exempted. Then for all the construction materials that come in, VAT is also exempt. Then if you're sourcing locally manufactured products that you need to use or add value in this free zone, they will also be exempted. Then the other exemption is on excise duty and stamp duty. It's also exempt if you're operating in a free zone. So in summary, the tax exemptions are on importation, so they're on duties and also internal taxes that may accrue at importation and also exportation in a free zone.
Amazing stuff. You've given everyone a reason to consider, investment in a free zone, and that's a beautiful thing that people need to appreciate and get to know exactly what is at stake as they make that decision of making their investment. Now, final question, and it's going over to Doreen. The decision has been made. Solomon, the investor, is out there, and he's considering getting himself into a free zone. How does he go about it? What is the process? How long does it take? Kindly paint me a picture.
Mm-hmm. So before Solomon gets the free zones license to enjoy all these tax benefits and be able to produce for the external market, he must first register his company for the sole purpose of developing or operating in a free zone. He then applies to Uganda Free Zones Authority, and in this you give us your business plan. The business plan must capture therein your how you intend to bring in your raw materials, what you intend to do, how much you're investing in there, what jobs you are creating. Basically, as you know, what a business plan looks like. You then submit that to us. We are also part of the electronic single window, very simplified process. And if all your paperwork is good, we should be able to issue this to you within 1 week.
Online? I don't need to pay you
You
guys
actually
a visit.
don't have to pay us a visit unless there are some things that are missing within your submission. Of course, you also must take cognizant of the fact that as the Free Zones Act stands right now, you should be exporting 80% and above of your business output. That qualifies you to invest in a free zone. When that is done, you then obtain the requisite license. Are you a developer? Are you an operator? Or are you a manager in the free zone? And then you must be able to commence operations within 12 months of issuance of the free zones license. That is how simple it is, and then you are able to enjoy producing for the global market.
And this is open to everybody, regardless of whether Ugandan or a foreigner?
Absolutely. Be it Ugandan, be it a foreigner, for as long as you are eligible, you remember eligibility criteria, then you should be able to get the free zones license and contribute to enhancing our exports.
One more time, Show Me the Money is the show, and we've come to the point of this show where we get to share parting shots. If there is that one thing that you would like the viewers not to leave the show without appreciating, this is the time where you get to talk about it. I'll start with you, Doreen.
Okay. Thank you very much. I am sure that whoever is out there watching us has now learnt about the free zones and what it is about. But for more information, you can kindly reach us at our office. We sit at 6th floor Communications House, but we are also online. Our website is www.freezones.go.ug. We also have presence on Twitter at freezonesug. But you can also call us on 0417 722 600. And we'll be able to attend to you. Our working hours is 8 to 5 p.m. But when you send us an email at info@freezones.go.ug, we shall also be able to get back to you as soon as we possibly can.
Thank you so much. I'm sure so many investors are going to be in your inbox.
We look forward.
And on your social media trying to, get these additional inquiries coming in. Rebecca.
Thank you very much, Solomon. I would like to urge our viewers and also listeners, the free zone scheme is here for us. It's a scheme that is eligible for Ugandans and also non-Ugandans. The opportunities are immense. You can set up a standalone free zone, or you can set up within an existing government-established free zone. But the key message here is, are you exporting? Or do you intend to export? Come to us. The opportunities and also the innovative investor support services will be huge or immense for you. So don't let any other person take up this opportunity. If you've heard, tell a friend, share this message so that we build Uganda together, but through the free zone scheme. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. From all of us at URA TV, we just want to appreciate you, the viewers, but even more importantly, we want to appreciate our guests for today who have been able to break down for us the opportunities within the Uganda Free Zones Authority. The show is Show Me the Money. It's about exploring business opportunities. It's about untapping those fresh investment areas, and we are committed to continue giving you a series of subsequent editions of the show as we unpack everything that you need to know about investment in Uganda. From all of us at URA TV, adios.